it's on occasion he'll know which side I need to go to and get stuff.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Parenthood. I am Neha Garg, your host, and I'm so grateful you're here with us. If you're new, a warm welcome to the Parenthood family. This podcast is all about diving into the real, sometimes messy, and always heartful stories of parenthood. Stories that aren't just about parenting, but about finding balance, joy, and growth along the way. Today, we are in for a treat. I'm joined by a powerhouse woman and an amazing mom, Shibani. Shibani is the founder and CEO of Propaganda, a role she manages while also being a deeply dedicated mother to her 8-year-old son, Shlok. Her parenting journey is uniquely inspiring. It's a story of strength, evolution, and as she puts it, a little bit of chaos and a whole lot of love. Shivani has navigated life as a single parent and now shares a beautiful partnership with her husband Alok, who she describes as a source of unwavering support. Today, we'll dive into her journey, hear about her experiences balancing career and family, and uncover some of the moments that have defined her as both as mother and a leader. So, without further ado, Shibani, welcome to Parenthood.
Hello, it's so nice to be here. I'm so grateful to be doing this with you, and I know it's taken a while to get here, but I'm so glad that we're here and we're finally like taking this off our plates.
Yes. And Shivani, I'm really so excited to have you here. Before we jump in, let's get to know you a little better. If you could describe yourself in 3 words or phrases, what would they be? And don't be boring, okay? Maybe tell us something quirky or unexpected about you.
I mean, you, Neha, have seen me evolve from like this crazy college kid. I was so young, and
Yeah.
you've seen this entire decade like of my like transformation.
Yeah.
Um, I think I went from being like at this stage, most people go from being like a duck, ugly, not I don't know, ugly is not, but like a duckling to a swan. I think I've gone backwards. Happy being a crazy duck, I don't know if you've seen that meme where the
Yeah.
duck is just pointing downwards and the legs are on top. That's how I feel, and I think that's the best way to describe me. Uh, but 3 words to describe me. I think one is chaos, like chaotic, like
Yeah.
absolutely batshit crazy. I think I'm a panda in disguise
Yeah.
sometimes.
You have been so.
I have, right? Like
Yeah.
completely, it is so me. Like it's my
Yeah.
spirit animal. I know, like people have more majestic creatures and stuff. Mine is 150%. It's a panda. I think if I wouldn't have been a human, I would have been a panda. But yeah, so third, I think I should be like I'm trying to say all these positive
Yeah.
affirmations. That I'm a strong, independent, oh, la, la, la. But I think I'm just so like I'm a crazy mom. Like I love this part of me. uh, I love being a mother, and I this is, as much as I may hate to admit it, but I don't hate to admit it, actually I'm very proud of it. This, I think, takes center stage for everything I do in life. I want to be the best possible example for my son,
Yeah.
and so that he also gets to see all spectrums of it, the ups, the downs, the in betweens, the good, the bad, and everything else. So yeah, I think powerhouse of a mother, I think, is the perfect way, like anything for my kid, like anything for him. So that
Very.
is like number one on the list. Everything else comes later.
Yeah, very, very powerful, I think, Shivani. And I'm so glad that you recognize it. And now that we are talking about, you as a mom, so let's talk about your son, Shlok. Tell us how is he as a person? He sounds like this incredible kid, and at 8, tell us something that he is super passionate about or he's incredibly good at.
Shlok, I think he is one of those. you know, in a classroom of kids, there'll always be that one kid who stands out. Either he's like very different, he's sometimes he's very smart, sometimes he's an absolute lunatic. Shlok is that kid, you know, he's super creative. He's not one of those usual go by the books wale kids, you know.
Mm.
He will question everything which is thrown at him. Why? Okay, you're telling me this, but why? So
Mm.
the whys just don't stop with Shlok. He will keep questioning anything. You like, but how? Why does this happen? But you tell me, why does this happen?
Mm.
So he's a very, very empathetic kid as well. You know, since he was a baby, like, you know, he would during COVID also. They would not even hear him, but like, you know, when the delivery agents would come,
Yeah.
you know, when he's a 3-year-old, every time they'd keep the parcel outside, he'd be like, "Thank you, bye, sir," and you know, he's such
How
a cute
cute.
kid. Scream it. I have a video of it somewhere doing it, but he was so sweet, and I think that empathy is also like a very naturally sort of quality about him. As he's of course gotten older now, he's become very sassy, but the very loving child that way. He has his moods, of course, and I think that comes from me. But he's great at, I think, wanting to know about why are the things the way they are, you know,
Mm.
and like he just doesn't accept it in one stance. So even if you tell him some story, he'll be like, but why did this happen and why did this not happen?
Mm.
So everything there's a why, and so you have to be super patient with him
Yeah.
also. So he's one of those quirky kids, you know, in the class who every teacher will be like, yeah, your child is, and I was like, I know, I am very well aware of this, but this is what makes him super special. And you know, we adore that part of it, and I really hope he doesn't lose that, you know, as he grows
Yeah.
up as
Yeah. And I'd love to hear about your husband, Alok, too. You've described him as your, not just your partner, but also one of your greatest supporters. So, how did you two meet? What has his presence, especially for Shlok, I think, what has it meant for you and Shlok as a family? Before even Alok came into the picture, you guys were a family. So,
yeah,
what has
100%.
it meant?
Alok is like, he is my backbone. I think he is somebody who gives me so much courage to do what I do. And every day, right from the day we've met to like even now, we have our share of differences again because we're both very creative people. So we tend to clash that way. But he's an excellent support system, you know, not just to me, but even to my parents, even to my friends, you know. And I lucked out somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
I think he is that good karma which I've got from somewhere. And it's very funny because he was also in the music scene. So our paths have crossed multiple times before. We've been in the same room. We've been in a very like private setting, like a gig, which was a very private setting. I have a photograph with his band, with his entire band, except he's not there.
Uh-huh.
I've seen him in the bus while coming back from Pune to Bombay multiple times. So I think this is somewhere serendipity also. It was
Yeah.
meant to happen. It just took its time. And when it did happen, I think, you know, we just knew. Like when we met, I was like, Ari, this is like game over, you know. And also because our names like Alok and Shivani, Alok and Lok and Shah and Shlok. So
Yeah.
this is like that R plus L equal to J from Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, like that level of stuff. But I think he's an excellent father.
Mm.
He's um, this again was, it was given to him, right? Like
Yeah.
this. But like one of our friends, you know, at our function said that I
Mm.
think he was born to be a dad. He's a dad before he became a dad. So he's so great with Shlok. I think he's way more hands-on than I am also as a parent. Because you know, I end up often working late, so I'm up like late till night because that's when I'm at my finest. And he takes up the responsibilities in the morning, so getting like him ready, his dabba and school bag and everything, you know. So of course Shlok has now gotten a little bit more independent also, but you know, there was a time when we had to really drop him to school, which was very
Yeah.
far away. Like it took an hour, and but he would do it relentlessly. So, um, I think the universe works in mysterious ways. This is how it was just supposed to be. It just took a really detour and somehow came to this. But he's such a strong role model as well to Shlok. He if tomorrow Shlok turns out to be even half a guy that Alok is, I think we've done our bit,
Yeah.
because he teaches him, and they're not just Alok, but his entire friend circle. I think uh, this it's kind of like this male positivity that we've not, like,
Yeah.
I've never seen it in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
always knew my guy friends, and they had that one WhatsApp group where they just trash
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
to see something like this was like a culture shock for me. I was like, okay, this category of men also exists. Like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
They're talking about their feelings, and it's so nice. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is wonderful. So it's not just him, but his entire circle of friends, his family, his cousins. Like, they're a very different category of people,
Yeah.
and I think that's where he gets it from. It's just how those people are built, raised. And I'm so happy that Shlok's got this amazing father to kind of he does his bit and more. They have their own clashes also.
Yeah.
Like, they had a proper fight because Alok is a Manchester United fan, and Shlok, just to annoy him, was saying, no, I'm going to be supporting Liverpool or United or City, Manchester City or something, who's
Yeah.
their absolute rivals. And they had a whole showdown on that. So I mean, it drives me
You know,
crazy.
yeah.
But
And I think here we'll be happy to say boys will be boys.
yeah,
You
yeah, yeah. They do their things. Then Shlok is fine. Then it's funny, Then he knows, like, somewhere he also loves United, and they both watch their games together. So they like their Xbox time, which I'm totally against, but I'm like, whatever, like, fine, I have to give in somewhere.
Yeah.
So they have their own things that they bond over, and I steer clear from it. But yeah, they're a good team. Like, they clash, and same thing with us. Like, I think when he's angry at me, Shlok, then he knows I got to go ask dad, and dad will sort me out.
Yeah.
uh, I am the usual strict one,
Yeah.
but the chicken nuggets, the KFC, and all of that comes from dad.
Yeah.
So it's on occasion he'll know which side I need to go to and get stuff from.
Nice, nice. And what's the vibe like in your household, Shibani? Every family, I think, has its own little quirks and maybe traditions. And is there anything unique about your family dynamic that you cherish, apart from the fact that it is unique?
Right. I think music is a very big thing here in the household.
Yeah.
Uh, Shlok also has his own set. He has introduced us to new music. That's a
Wow.
very, and both
That's,
of us yeah. You know my history too. We're both
yeah.
crazy music people. Alok too was in a band. He currently has his own studio, still very much involved in, like, film and music.
Yeah.
And for me also, music is my love, like my first
Yeah.
love, and my heart is always going to be there in music. But to be introduced to new music from Shlok was a different thing for both of us,
Yeah.
and we're also not really for EDM fans and stuff. We're hardcore into rock and metal and all of that. So, uh, but the stuff that he's picked up has been like pop and EDM, and whatever these new artists he's introduced us to have been great. So I think music is definitely a very big factor for us. But apart from that, I think it's a culture of comedy. Like, we're all crack in our own way. Humor is a very important thing. I think we want to sort of inculcate that also, that take things with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Uh, my parents live with us, by the way, so
Hmm.
there is always some comedy going on with them also, and that I think that's the vibe. Generally, we try and we'll be dancing at some random time. You'll otherwise we might be in a shouting match, so it's one or the two. So
Yeah.
I think the comedy part of it is pretty much common.
And how is it living with your parents? You know, it's a I would say it's a deviation from the tradition. And I'm again, every question of mine comes with that kind of disclaimer that of course your life is a deviation from the norm, but this is also a deviation from the norm. So how does this work? And how is Alok with all of it?
uh Again, I think he's the reason why a lot of our things like got settled, and a lot of our issues sort of, because he just came and like he didn't just sweep me off my feet. I think he swept my parents also off their feet,
Yeah,
because this is exactly what happened. One day he showed up and we were all down with COVID, by the way, and he came in and he was like, enough, y'all can't manage by yourselves. He packed all four of us in the car and brought us here. That is it. After that, we've not gone back home. So we, of course, it's different. It's different having parents again living with us, but
yeah,
uh, it's him being so accommodating, and uh, now I think my parents will introduce him as, hey, this is my son Alok, and
yeah.
that's his wife Shivani. So they won't really acknowledge me anymore, I think. But parents also, as they get older, they become like your kids, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's good to have them around, and had they been living separately, I think for us also, we'd always be in a state of stress because they're
yeah,
older, they keep having falls. So it's good that they're around, but this was his call, and I really respect him, and I'm very grateful to him for doing that. Because it's not something I think anybody would just lightly do. So it's a
yeah,
big move, and he was living by himself earlier. His parents are unfortunately no more. So he was living by himself for a while, and now he has like a madhouse that he comes home to every day. So yeah, it's different having them now, because now we are sort of the parents in the house, even to
yeah,
them.
yeah,
But it's good, yeah. Like in a way, Shlok has his grandparents around too,
yeah,
so it's good that they're with us all the time, and it's fun,
yeah,
interesting. There's somewhere sometimes I like, of course we also have our, they are my parents and we
yeah.
do clap, and then they suddenly remember that I'm their kid, and that will also come in. Today only in the morning they were talking about how you were in Pune and you used to bunk college and this and that. Remember all that? Okay, cool. Never been there in the first place, so we were just laughing about it in the morning. But yeah, I have given them hell
Yeah,
during those days. But it's just, I'm grateful to Alok for, like opening up his heart and his home to us, and now I can't imagine life any other way.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to take you back a little bit, Shivani. You said that your journey into motherhood was tumultuous. And
Yeah.
can you share a bit about that? And how have things shifted with Alok by your side now?
Uh, yeah, so I was a single mother for the first 5 years of Shlok's life, or at least first 4 years, but pretty much I can say like from start to end. But it was also very difficult because the minute like my separation and everything happened, the divorce came through. Just a year later, we went into COVID, right? And like it was a completely like new thing for everybody. Nobody had any idea what was happening only. So, very tough few years, yeah. I think from like 2018 to 2021, like those 2 3 years were really tough because getting a job and being the only breadwinner also of the
Yeah,
house. There
yeah,
was a lot of responsibility that way. Uh, Again, then to handle the house, plus handle work, plus handle a toddler,
yeah,
uh, and your aging parent. So I was the only able-bodied person in that house. So even to go get groceries at that time,
yeah,
first wave of COVID was nuts. So very very stressful in that way, and also things like getting admission for Shlok as a single
yeah,
parent was tough. We
Yeah.
did get rejected from a couple of schools for that, and I think even the school where he eventually got in initially, we've switched. But the first school that he was, I mean, this topic came up like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not able to do this because of a single. I was like, that is not the point. Like, he's doing well, he's doing fine. You shouldn't be differentiating just
Yeah.
because he's being raised by a single parent. In fact, you should empower him even more, you
Yeah.
know. So I think in that place the education system itself is flawed, but the school we shifted to now has been very, very different in their approach. So it was very tough in the sense that I think I got very little time, little to no time for myself to
Yeah.
be, absolutely no time, because if I was not working, then I had to handle stuff at home,
Yeah.
uh, and or just be with Shlok. So the only time I would just get was that little time at night when he would fall asleep.
Yeah.
So it gets lonely. It gets, you miss having a companion. um, you miss having somebody to talk to also,
Yeah.
and so that's been a massive shift post marriage again. And just to have, that you're not alone. And I mean, not like that, I mean, of course my
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
there, but just having another parent to sort of pick up stuff when you can't.
Yeah.
uh, and he's so active with school, for
Yeah.
example. And it's a very big change, because I love seeing that even when we've gone to school, it's mostly like majority a room full of mothers.
Yeah.
And then Alok is a big, tall, large man also, so stands out. So now the school knows him more than they know me.
Yeah.
So uh, it's so good to also have that shift, like, dads need to be a little bit more hands-on also with their kids. And luckily I've been seeing that shift with a lot of my friends. They're
Yeah.
awesome, amazing fathers who are super hands-on. And in fact, sometimes even more than the moms. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is great, like, I love
Yeah.
this. I keep this, like, they need to remember that it takes two to make a
Yeah.
child. And you can't just have one person sort of doing everything. But at least those were the cards that I got dealt initially. But
Yeah.
touch wood, I'm again, grateful to whoever's up there to help us get through that and get to here. So it
Yeah.
wasn't easy. Uh, would you have to also, like, because I was returning to work also at, after a break. And
Yeah.
it was at a time where I had to pretty much start from scratch, because
Yeah.
I couldn't go back to dentistry. It had been a very long gap since I'd stopped practicing. So I was at that crossroad, ke, do I go back to dentistry and start again from scratch, or should I just follow my heart and do
Do
what I
something.
really love?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I managed to take that decision also because of my parents, and I knew they had my back. And when I was working, they would sort of handle Shlok. So um, I think all in all, like, I have to be very grateful to my support system. Like, everybody sort of came in, and I wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm cognizant of that fact. I'm very aware of it. Extremely grateful for the privilege and the honor to do that. And not a lot of people have that kind of backing. So I have to keep reminding myself to never take things like this for granted, because
Yeah.
life is so uncertain. And need to just remember who's done what, whether if it's your parents also, or your husband, or your sister, or whoever, your friends also.
Yeah.
You gotta just keep, as I've grown, I've realized that a little more. So I try and remind them and thank them for everything that doing for
Yeah.
me all the time.
Yeah. And also, I'm also very curious to know about your birthing experience, Shibani. And tell me if it gets difficult to talk about, but Shlok came into this world via C-section, right? And can you share a bit about that experience? How was it for you, that going through that whole journey? And what were those early days like as a new mother?
So my pregnancy overall was again very turbulent, because I was diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum, which
Oh,
is like you're constantly throwing up.
yeah.
So I have painted walls with my puke. Like if I was a Pokemon, like I used to call myself, like literally, because anything that just went in came out. Like for 9 months, I think I was so traumatized with the constant puking. Only maybe my second trimester, I was a little stable,
Yeah.
but throughout my pregnancy, I just keep puking everywhere all the time. I couldn't go out. I was also recommended bed rest, so I
Oh,
couldn't
wow.
travel anywhere. I didn't have baby moon honey. What a baby moon, yeah, baby
Yeah.
moon. And I'm like baby moon in my living room, like that. That was it. So I had to sleep on my left side, and
Yeah.
it was very tough that way. And but like I don't know if you remember Munjal.
Yeah.
Munjal Kapadia was my gynac, and his wife, Dr. Riddhi Kapadia. Uh, they were like, man, my saviors. Nama had just started, their
Yeah.
hospital had just started at that time, and I was actually the first patient. Because
Wow. You were?
Munjal, yeah, the first billing with Nama was with me, and he'd call me Udgatan and something like a word like that. He'd call me that, and Nama at that time was like, the walls are being painted and stuff, but I was like, Munjal, if this kid is coming out, it's got to be you. Like, I don't trust anybody else
Yeah.
for doing this. And it was very close to home also at that time, so it was awesome. It was like a stone's throw away from work. But multiple times I'm like, oh, it's happening. And then we'd go and then we'd come back. I say, okay, no, wait. And the date actually happened when it was about to happen. I was telling my mom, I was like, I'm feeling uneasy. But by that time, we'd done so many trips to the hospital. She was like, no, no, you had cabbage in the afternoon. This was gas. So this is, I'm like, could be gas. Yes, I am frequently gassy, but this doesn't feel, something feels off,
Hmm.
and I was like, it was painful in a weird way, but I can manage. I'm okay. It's like, maybe we should go check,
Yeah.
and like we went there to the hospital, and they were like, oh, this is, you're in labor, like it has begun, so this, like, it took almost 20 hours, I think,
Oh
or
my God.
yeah, crazy, because I went into labor and then suddenly, like, Shlok was like, hey, I'm not coming, I love this place, like this is awesome, so the baby went up or something like that, and then Munjal was like, we couldn't wait, we had to do a C-section. So I think my pain threshold is generally a little high. So it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would,
Yeah.
because it started, like, I remember reading saying you need, and he was also telling me that you need to start walking. So I tried, started walking from the bed to the bathroom, and then Shlok was in the NICU for like a week after that, because
Hmm.
he had to do this phototherapy, and because rainy season
Jaundice and
was getting a lot of sun. So eventually I started walking from like one floor to the above floor to
hmm.
get okay. So I think that definitely got the healing thing going. But that's when the real chaos really started, I think, because after coming home with the baby, October, he was born in September, I think the next 2 months in November, I got mastitis, and I had
God.
a very, very bad abscess. And with MRSA, which is your multiple strain, resistant bacteria, and it's like you can only treat it with certain antibiotics and nothing else works. So that, I think, has been one of the most, more than childbirth, I think that was the most
Yeah.
painful, excruciating experience of my life. And I was
Did
like,
you need surgery for that?
yes, yes, because the abscess needed to drain, and
Yeah.
you can't
Breastfeed.
suture it, right? No, I
Mm.
was still breastfeeding, by the way. Like one was like extremely, like we had to go through surgery and stuff, but the other side I kept feeding him because Mujal was
Yeah.
like, you can still feed. But that experience was so traumatic, right? Like, I don't know, at that time I thought I will just stop. I don't want to, can't continue, but ended up breastfeeding till he was 2 years old.
Hmm.
So I think it was also mind over matter at that time. Like I went into full Mother India zone. I was like, no, I feed the child and this and that. New mother was also dealing with a lot, I think, in my personal life at that time.
Yeah.
So uh, I felt more attached to my child than ever. So
Hmm.
I was like, you and me, that's it. Like the whole world can go burn, but I breathe for you. So at that I was so protective of him, and I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So it got better after that. So we got into a rhythm, and then it was fine. But those 9 months weren't really easy. You know, couldn't eat anything that I wanted, cravings, nothing. You know, I had to just make do with whatever I could keep down,
Yeah.
essentially. And grilled cheese sandwich was the secret at that time. Like that was the only thing I could keep down, and Munjal had given me a great recipe, so that worked. But again, you know, I now I've like I'm just like, oh my god, I survived
Yeah.
that.
That.
Yeah, because like I had like very high fever. It was so painful. Like so,
Yeah.
and I'm somebody who can deal with a lot of pain. But for me also, I was like, this is it. I think I'm going to die now. This is
Yeah.
how I go, you know. Because I had started blacking out by the end of it. The fever was so high, and then I don't remember actually what happened. I just remember being taken to the hospital, and I can't remember anything in the middle of it. Just the next time I woke up, I think was post the surgery.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened in that little time.
Yeah. I'm glad you're out of it now, and there happens. Things all over again. And you are saying this made me think that parenting is like full of big and small moments that make us stop and say to ourselves, oh wow, I'm really a parent now, I'm a mom now. So if you could pick, say, one incident or one memory that encapsulates your journey with Shlok so far, what would be it? And what is it that makes that moment stand out for you?
I think that feeling for me happens every day, by the way. Like, oh
Every
my
day.
God, I'm a mom now. I don't think that stopped. That's every day you're reminded, like, oh my God, I'm a parent. And how have I gotten this responsibility of raising another human? You know, am I
Yeah.
okay? Am I capable enough to be doing this? This happens every day. Like, I keep
Yeah.
thinking, like, how am I a mother? Like, you know, am I fit for this role? But the joy, yeah, there are too many of these little moments, you know. And Shlok started speaking very late. Like he'd be saying like little words, but like proper conversation happened very, like he was almost two, you know, and he
Mhm.
was walking. He started like humming before he started talking. So
Uh-huh.
I think for me, those moments are like I go back to it, and this kid was 1.5 year old, but humming Game of Thrones,
Oh
the
my
intro to
God.
Game of Thrones and Avengers. And these are the things that really matter to me. You know, I'm like, how
Yeah.
did I manage it? I used to take him to like this toddler class, you play
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
stuff. There was a celebrity kid who was there, and his best friend. But they're children, you know, they don't know that this child is a celebrity. They'd like hold hands and just walk and stuff, and they were best friends. So multiple things like this, you know, him the first time he played football, and I saw him,
Yeah.
and again 3 years old, and you know him kicking the ball when he started walking.
Yeah.
Moments like this were always good. He used to love John Mayer
Oh,
as a
uh-huh.
baby. So, I mean, that is still there. Of course, he still loves John Mayer so much, but he'd fall asleep to Gravity by John Mayer. So,
Uh-huh.
that is still his favorite song, and it still puts him to sleep. So, that's our thing, you know, that'll
Yeah.
always be so just so core to both of us. And you know there are always going to be little moments like that, but
Yeah.
we've had a bunch of these even now. Like I think Alok and I, when he won a gold medal in a quiz contest, half the questions we also didn't know, and I was like, how do you know these things? Why do you know these things, you know? So we were so proud, you know, and we were cheering like, and all these questions, and he was putting that buzzer thing and giving me so much anxiety. But we were super proud, you know, of how he was doing at that quiz. So we have like a bunch of these core memories.
Yeah.
um, you know, like taking him to the beach for the first time, and
Wow.
taking him swimming, for the first time, because I didn't get, like, we, because of COVID and everything, we
Yeah.
couldn't go swimming for a very long time. So when that eventually did happen and three of us got into the pool together, that moment as well, like just everybody freaking out, it was great.
Yeah.
So I can't say there's one, and like there's so many things like that which happen, and you have to keep, you're learning every day. So
Yeah.
now, like, he asked me about what is menopause very recently.
Wow.
I was like, you're eight, buddy. I don't think we should like have this conversation, but we did. And I've told him very briefly about it. Because I
Yeah.
was like, for now, like, this much information is okay. And we'll talk. And, I'm planning to maybe get him a book or something to read about it, because I was like, it's cool. You need to know
Yeah.
about all these things,
Yeah.
you know. He'll keep asking me random medical stuff. Oh, he loves medical. He
Oh,
loves medical information.
your baby, Shivani, your baby.
Yeah, this is my fault, because again, I'm guilty that I couldn't remember a lot of fairy tales from start to end. Because I was like with Cinderella, I was like, "ये pumpkin कहाँ से आया? I can't remember." Did the godmother give her the pumpkin? Something turns into a chariot, or were it
Yeah.
was it mice who became the horses? So I couldn't remember stories from when we were kids. So the easier thing is to do is talk about stuff which I know. So he knows like every single bone in the body, which is the smallest bone, which is the largest bone, every inflammation of the body, things like that. So I think medical questions he's very good at. Super guilty of giving him all that information, but a lot of it he's also found out on his own. So he'll go
Yeah.
take books from the library, and every time he comes with like some random body part book, or it's either that, or it's space, or it's sport.
Wow.
So very interesting
Mix.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Shivani, tell me, I know now parenthood is like the center of your life and you love being a mom, but I'm very interested to know in what ways do you think being a mother has expanded your life and in what ways it has contracted your life? In what are there areas of your life that you've had to let go of because you are a mother now? You may not necessarily feel bad about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that part is not relevant or not priority anymore.
um See, I think it is every part of my life, and now you start thinking very differently. I think once you're a mom, once you're a parent,
Yeah.
rather. Uh, Earlier, just to give you the most mundane example, I would be tweeting
Yeah.
rubbish earlier, and but now I think twice about
Yeah.
what I say and stuff, because I'm like, okay, he's gonna grow up at some point and read it or have access to information. I'm guilty, of course, of a lot of things that way. But everything is from that lens. I think even with the work we do, um, the whole reason I started propaganda also is because I want him to kind of understand how digital mediums can be used for other things besides recreation. You can help impact lives, you can help drive change, you can do something good out of it. Because again, this generation gets to see a very different side of social media. We got to see it, when it was just starting, but now how social media also has evolved. So I think motherhood is definitely it's like a guiding force.
Right.
Parenting, it comes into every decision of yours. You can't just take anything very one sided, like it's just about you. uh I don't know how it has like contracted my life per se, but earlier it used to be easy to just go for a party and like go hang out with friends and stuff. Now, I mean, that's cut down. Like I'm very happy to be at home, and I would rather stay in with my boys, and including my puppy, my other
Yeah.
son, Mocha, cuddled up with them and watching some movie. I would rather be at home than go out. And even like, go chilling somewhere. Or I mean, I was
Yeah.
not the whole partying type person anyway, but that definitely happened a lot more in my 20s than now. But I think that is like, I don't see the point of that anymore. And sometimes even I've had disagreements with friends also, because
Yeah.
it's tough to keep in touch. Yeah, like all the time you're busy as a, you have things to do, you're juggling multiple things
Yeah.
still, and I'm now at a point where most of my friends are parents and they understand this,
Yeah.
like you can't keep doing, it's difficult to get everybody in one place to also
Yeah.
hang, right? Like either somebody's child is unwell, or that is
Even
something
if they
we
are
want.
well, they have multiple schedules to match.
We've got this class, that class, this is going on, that is going on. We've got things to do. So, but I'm happy. Yeah, like I mean, this is the course of life, right? Like, jab hota hai, when we can do things, we do it. Uh, I definitely had a lot of mom guilt when it came to work,
Yeah.
because at that time I was still a single mother, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was not giving Shlook enough time. So that was, though I mean, I was at home working from home,
Yeah.
but the guilt of like not being able to completely is what I used to feel. Of course, now I've also like, I'm
Grown up.
so hard on myself, yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, look back at it and say, hey, you did the best you could, at that situation. There was nothing else that you could do. You were doing your absolute best and more. So it's taken therapy also to get there, and be easier on yourself. So I've learned to appreciate that part of mine. But I think mom guilt is something I spoke to a friend also recently. I think Diksha, you also know, and this was something we were always talking about. About how workplaces are not always conducive for mothers. That is something we are actively trying to change our propaganda. We want to get more mothers into the system. We started Digital Mavericks, our workshop series for
Yeah.
moms, who digitally upskill them as well. And we want to build that community. Yeah, so I think pros and cons keep happening. It's
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
but you learn to make peace with it. And I think when you're a parent, no matter what, your kid will always come first.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah.
you have to, you may like it, you may not like it, but it is just,
Yeah.
it's got to be
And I'm
done.
so glad that you spoke about therapy, and we grew up in a system and an environment where therapy, mental health, words like these were a taboo. And I think our generation is trying very hard to, kind of normalize these things. And I'm very glad in a way that our kids are growing up seeing therapy as normal. They know, yeah, moms have a therapy session, every week. And yeah, there is that hour slotted where mama will go to therapy, and or something of that sort. So I'm really glad that you spoke about that and you are going to therapy. And in that vein, Shivani, you also spoke about how it takes a lot of juggling to ensure that you are being present and in every sphere of your life, not just as a parent. And do you have any rituals is a big word, but do you have any those sort of routines or moments that are just for you, which help you stay grounded, or which are like your time where you reconnect with yourself?
Yeah, now I think I do, because I think Shlok is also grown up and
Yeah.
he's more independent now, so he's not very dependent on either of us. Like, he can
Yeah.
go down and play by himself, and he's got his routine going. So I think this has given us also a little bit more freedom to
Yeah.
do it. But I just have a startup now, so that's
Yeah.
another baby as well. So I try and find some time to unwind. It's tough, with a lot going on with my parents, they've been unwell in the last couple of months. So it's taken a bit of a backseat in the more recent times. But I used to try and find some time to work out,
Hmm.
like 15-20 minutes of just something, anything,
Yeah.
skipping rope, something. And I think that was good enough for me to get through the day. But if I'm not able to sort of do that, I still go back to music. And I feel like even one song that I get to listen to in peace, I think just changes my mood
Yeah.
uh, entirely. If not for that, then there's always cake. So I go back to it and just cry into like a lot of cake. So
Uh,
that I think is the ritual which has it's been constant, crying to ice cream, crying to cheesecake.
yeah.
So that changes and
Yeah.
all.
And in all of this, Shibani, I mean, I know the initial few years of yours with Shlok were full of challenges, but is there something that stands out, which particularly threw you a curveball, and it was like, oh my God, what is this? And how do I handle it? What do I do now?
No, not really. I think getting into school was one thing because
Yeah.
COVID, right? And like the first 2 years of like junior KG, senior KG was online.
Uh-huh.
And
We started
yeah,
schooling
yeah,
online.
online because playgroup happened and then COVID happened. And essentially, when they came back to school, they were already in first grade.
Yeah.
And so those first 2 years when they're learning how to read, how to write, reading, okay, was still fine, but writing, that is such
Yeah.
an important skill. So I think he struggled a lot with that. So for me, I think that was a huge thing. Like, oh my god, how do we get this sorted? And then it takes its time. It's not like he's because when these online sessions also to kind of happen, it would have to be mostly my mom who's sitting with him. How do you get a 3 4 year old to also sit in front of a screen? It's a whole different experience. On one hand, we're trying to keep them away from screens,
Yeah.
and then 2 years they were stuck to screens for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So at that time, we had to adapt to whatever. It was a completely new system
Yeah.
for everyone. So definitely that was a curveball. Like how do you deal with school online? Because we're so traditional, and then again a massive change in the sense of going from virtual systems to then
Yeah.
he to
And
sit in school.
especially for a child who has begun their journey,
Yeah.
into
No
schooling.
concept of school only,
Yeah.
really. And then suddenly you've been put into first standard, which is it's such a different experience, right?
Right.
So I think this bunch of kids also had a lot of social anxiety in that way because
Yes.
they didn't know how to be studying in a classroom.
Yeah.
They've been sitting in their pajamas and doing
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
and like eating stuff, and then suddenly to be told no, you have to sit quietly and behave a certain way. uh, so I think it was also the school's fault, I think, in that time.
Yeah.
But because perhaps they didn't have the training they needed to also deal with the situation. They were still following the old traditional thing, which was
Yeah.
what they had to do. So that I think we no one saw coming. How do you deal with online school, and you know, do you
Yeah.
take it seriously even? But because like I think those 2 years just went by. Like otherwise
Yeah.
junior senior KG, they're so cute. They do annual concerts and this and
Yeah.
that. So we didn't get to experience all of that. I mean, it happened, but on a virtual thing, jo ghar
Yeah.
pe we had to make do with a lot of those things.
Yeah.
So that was exceptionally challenging. I think getting him to sit still, pay attention, and we were doing as much as we could.
Yeah. And then everybody's attending the class together.
Yeah, that is a whole different chaos because somebody is unmuted, some child is crying, you can hear someone talking. So, different things like that. I still don't think Stoke is completely adapted to that whole virtual school setting. I'm glad he gets to go now and meet his friends, and so things have sort of normalized now that they've had a couple
Yeah.
of years. But that those 2 3 years, I think, were very difficult
Yeah.
because no one knew how to do it. Also, we
Yeah.
also never had that chance, and none of our parents sat with us and taught us how to write. This
Yeah.
though happened in school only. So
Yeah.
like I still remember my junior senior KG and that. So I feel sorry that they were robbed of that experience, and they
Yeah.
didn't get to do that. But it's okay. This, I think maybe this generation becomes more resilient for it.
Yeah. And okay, now confession time. What's the one thing that you continue to do as a parent that you swore that you'd never do?
Give him to watch screen time. I mean, so YouTube is banned in the house
Uh-huh.
completely. We don't allow YouTube. But once in a while, we're like, okay, yeah, we used to also come back from school and
Yeah.
watch TV, like we had that routine afternoon, Scooby Doo, SWAT Cats. It was very
Yeah.
scheduled. So initially, I was like, no screens and stuff, but we let him have that TV time. Also, sugar, I think. I managed to keep him away from candy till he was 5, like
Wow.
4.5.
Wow.
No chocolates till then, like properly. Like, he was not really this. But then my dad traveled somewhere to Dubai or something, came back with a packet of M&Ms, and that was it. Like, after that, grandparents, right? They spoil you. So that was his initiation to chocolate. So as a dentist, like not very happy about it. But I think you are, the minute you are in this profession, you will either be given parents who hate dentists, a spouse who is traumatized by dentists.
Hmm.
Uh, he thinks like all dentists should like just, but now he's finally met someone, he had a good experience. It was just traumatic for him.
No,
And
which
then,
is not you.
yeah, not me. I will not. I don't have the patience also to deal with a patient like that. I think
Yeah.
this is really irritating. Sorry, Alok, I love you. But now, no, he met Dari Pairs. I don't know. Again, Twitter friend slash dentist. So Dr. Darshan Parukar, I think, has changed that whole mindset he had about dentists. But Shlok, who loves candy, loves chocolates. So this is my doing now. I don't have anything to do. I still feel proud of the fact that we've managed to keep him away from aerated drinks. So,
Uh-huh. Mm-mm.
but that's, I think that's also him and his choice in the sense that he knows the bad stuff
Bad
about
effects.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like once he told me, he's like, "Do you know you can use this as a toilet cleaner?" I was like, "How?" Again, wow, and why do you know this? Where did you get this information from? So he stays away, yeah, from all these like colas and stuff. He doesn't drink, so touch wood. Hope he
But
takes some.
tell me that these little moments that you have with him, where he comes up with something and blows your mind. Uh,
Yeah.
are,
Oh,
are there any, like, very small moments like these that have happened, and they're like, oh my God, it has changed my life.
I feel he's so good at naming things. Like any brand, I think, who wants like products to be named, I think should really reach out to Shlok. He's damn good at this. Recently, my mind was blown because he loves cats, and Alok is deathly allergic to cats. I'm petrified of cats, but he again has this thing for animals in general. So he's adopted this little building cat, and who he's named Blast. I was like, how would you name? Why? How? But I've stopped asking now. I knew, but I was so amused that this managed to name a cat called
And
Blast, and I think it is absolutely phenomenal. Like it's a great name for this cat that keeps darting here and there. So Blast, I think, is a wonderful name. Recently, we've been tripping on that. But the other, I think, moment was him with my mom. My mom was trying to explain something to him, and he was 5 years old, and he tells her saying, "But that's not the way life works, Nani." And I think she also like she broke down like laughing, just hysterical. So he has these little moments when he'll just say something so profound
yeah,
and or
with a
something so
straight
cute.
face.
Yeah, like he's already like some big philosopher. He's seen a lot of life. So he's like that little oddball, who's
Yeah.
always coming up with stuff like this. So I think him coming up with names, he'll name some. He has this thing about building stuff and building things with Lego, and each of those buildings will have some very cool name, and so that creativity part is pretty cool.
Right, right. And Shibani, coming back to you, if you could go back in time and have a cup of coffee with your pre-parent self, is there a piece of advice or wisdom you'd like to share with her?
Oh yeah, I think I would tell her to um, accept who she is,
Mm,
you know, and believe in herself a little
yeah,
more, um, and just remember that no matter what, like, it works out. It'll be okay. You will be okay. Like,
yeah,
because I think I used to always have this major fear of being alone
yeah,
because I'm a single child also, so I used
yeah,
to keep, oh my god, something happened to my parents, and then I'm by myself. I don't have anybody aage piche. So I think I definitely tell her to be a little kinder to herself. She's dealt with a lot, so it's okay. Whatever comes your way, you will deal with it, and you will be fine. And I think that that's something I also will try and tell my child, saying
yeah.
life will keep throwing curveballs at you, and some of it, which you'll expect, some of it just hits you out of nowhere. But whatever it is, talk about it to your people, don't keep it to yourself, and everything will be okay. Like, it will work out, and just hang in there. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
so just
Beautiful.
take it
I
easy.
think, yeah. And I'm glad that if not then, at least you can say it now, and you are following it now. And as we wrap up, Shibani, this is the last question that I'm going to ask you. Is there a final, if there is a final thought or piece of advice you were to give our listeners and leave them with it, something that probably sums up who you are and what you stand for, what would that be?
I think I've said this before, but I stand by it, because I don't think it's just for life, but generally in everything we do. It's never too late to start over
Yeah.
in any aspect. I think help always comes to those who ask for it. This is
Yeah.
another Harry Potter reference, because I think don't be afraid to ask for that help,
Yeah.
when you need it. So these two things, I think, just ask for help when you need it, whatever it may be. Somebody will always show up with that help, and there are no timelines to things. So
Yeah.
don't think that you've run out of time and, oh my god, I'm so, like, this is where it, how can I start doing this at this point. It it's never too late to start over in whatever aspect of your life. So just believe in yourself a little bit more, be kinder to yourself, and take the plunge, if you have to, whatever it is.
Love it.
So
Love
yeah.
it. Love this advice, Shivani. Thank you
Awesome.
so
Thank you.
much for sharing your story with us. Your honesty, I think, resilience and dedication to both your family and your work are truly inspiring. I have no doubt at all that our listeners have gained so much insight and warmth from hearing about your journey. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much, Neha, for giving me this platform to share a little bit of the chaos of my life with you. We've come a long way, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were kids,
We
and
were
now we've become
kids.
adults.
For
Yeah.
context, we started talking when Twitter was just launched. I think we were the initial
Yeah.
first first few users, and we were on the Twitterverse.
Yeah. And
We
now what it
were
is.
meetups, man.
Yeah, oh god, let's not, like, I I think about all that and I'm like, oh my god, that was our life. Like, who are we now? Because now when I think about it, I was like, this requires me to be out of the
Out of
house
house.
after 8 p.m. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know, by like 9:30, 10. I can't do this anymore. So yeah, half the things I think about then I'm like, no, I can't. What about the next morning? So but that was then, and I'm so glad that we got to experience that part of it, because I don't think it can be replicated in any way.
Can't. It
Yeah.
can't. It can't.
There was something awesome about that time, and something magical also about that time, as maddening as it could be
Yeah.
also. But it was a fun time.
It
It's
was
okay,
a
you live,
fun
you
time.
learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to our listeners, thank you as always for being here with us on Parenthood. If you loved this episode, please consider sharing it with another parent or friend who might find value in it. And don't forget to subscribe to Parenthood for more real stories, real parents, and real conversations. Until next time, take care of yourselves, cherish those little moments, and remember, you're not alone on this parenting journey. This is Neha Garg signing off. Catch you on the next episode. Thank you.